Good evening. Welcome, everybody. So, tonight, let's do another study group in the Allan Kardec Spiritist Group of New Zealand. So we have a few people here in person, not many tonight, but hopefully a few people are watching us or will watch later as well. And in terms of news of our group, not many at the moment. So in Auckland, New Zealand, is still a few restrictions in terms of events and things that we can do outside our place. So therefore, we're doing mostly just the standard meetings that we do. So we're here every Wednesday. Everyone is welcome to be here. We are following all the guidelines from the government. So we wearing the mask, keeping the distance, and everything else. But if you prefer to watch from home, that's not a problem. You can still follow us either on Facebook, Instagram, or in the YouTube as well. So let's then start with our readings of tonight. We are at the moment reading the book Living Spring, and today we are on item 4. So the initial reading is for us to just calm us down and get in the mood for the meeting. Leave outside all our worries and our busy life that we all have. And yeah, just dedicate some time to study a little bit about the spiritual life, about ourselves, and take the time to reflect on those topics. So tonight is number 4, each one. Now, there is a diversity of gifts, but the Spirit is the same. All 1 Corinthians 12:4. In every place and situation, each one of us can display divine qualities for the edification of all those who are part of our lives. Learning and teaching are ongoing tasks in which we can take part in increasing the common treasure of wisdom and love. Those who administer can express fairness and magnanimity more often. Those who obey can have more ample resources for demonstrating a job well done. The wealthy, better than anyone else, can do more work and share its blessings. The poor have more latitude to cultivate the wealth of hope and dignity. The strong can more easily be benevolent at any time. The weak can be humble on any occasion without embarrassment. The learned can help everybody with their expensive, expensive knowledge, hence renewing the general thought for the good. Learners, with their many opportunities, can always distribute the wealth of goodwill. The healthy can practice charity far and wide. The sick can more convincingly teach lessons of patience all around. Thus, the gifts may be different, intelligence may be characterized by various levels. Worthiness displays various qualities, and ability is the result of effort. But the divine spirit that sustains everyone is substantially the same. All of us can accomplish much in our particular station in life. Take a good look at your position and attend to the imperatives of the infinite good. Place above your own, and the divine will make use of you. That's it. So we'll do our initial prayer. Dear God, the creator of the universe, our Father, Jesus, our brother, our biggest example of love and charity. Superior spirits that guide us and protects us. Would you like to say thank you for this opportunity of being here tonight, the opportunity of stop our busy lives, stop to reflect, stop to think about what we have been doing lately, and learn more and review some lessons and do our best to internalize lessons from Jesus and to help with our understanding of ourselves, our actions and feelings. Please help us to be present in this meeting and internalize the learnings. So we would like to ask permission to start another Allan Kardec meeting. Thank you. So be it. Do you want to do it? Awesome. So, as usual, we'll first study Gospel according to Spiritism. At the moment, we are on chapter 21, which is there will be false Christs and false prophets. And the item tonight is item 5. So we already studied a little bit about the tree is known by its fruits and the mission of the prophets. So today is the continuation. So André, you were here last week?
Yes, I was.
I wasn't here. Do you wanna, after you find the topic, to just talk a little bit about the beginning of there will be false Christs and false prophets.
Yes, so we will talk about the mission of the prophets and that they are not, how can I say that, not just forecast or foresee the future. They are responsible, the word prophet. It means that responsible to bring the knowledge from the spiritual world. So it's not just that those people that can see the future, but all the ones that brings the message from God. And we talk about some how can I say, passage in the Bible.
Passage from the Bible, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember all of those, but I think most of them will be discussing the false prophets that we'll be talking today.
Right.
And we discussed a little bit about the types of prophets as well, that even we have like a lot of false prophets and a lot of misinformation, but in the same way, Jesus Christ sent us a lot of missionaries that's responsible to bring the right message, and we just need to find those. We talk about a lot about the parable, but some part of the kind of, when you say the good fruits and the bad fruits, and you can see that analogy. Thank you. You can see the real prophets by their fruits. So if the message or the example is a good one, it means that it's a good prophet. And if the message it's not good, or if the example is not good, we don't need to follow them because they are not the good ones.
Awesome, thank you. That's a really good summary. So today we'll read number 5. Does anybody would like to read for us, please?
I can read.
You can read?
You're right.
Thank you.
Do you want the book?
Oh, that's probably good.
That's better with you. Oh, thank you. Number 5.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts Yeah, start there and we'll see if we have a break or, yeah. Thank you.
Um, Prodigies performed by false prophets. 5. False Christs and false prophets will appear who perform great prodigies and amazing things to the point of deceiving the elect themselves. These words provide the true meaning of the term prodigy. According to the theological definition, prodigies and miracles are exceptional, no,
Exceptional.
yep, phenomena that occur outside the laws of nature. Since the laws of nature are the work of God exclusively, God could obviously derogate from them if so desired. However, simple common sense says that God could not have possibly given an uninvolved and perverse being, a power equal to the divine power, and even less the right to undo what God has done. Jesus could not have consecrated such a principle. If according to the meaning, if according to the meaning that has been attributed to those two words, the spirit of evil has the power to perform such prodigies to the point that they elect themselves and deceived. The result would be that being able to do what God does. Prodigies and miracles are not the exclusive privilege of those sent by God. Moreover, they would not prove anything, since nothing would distinguish the miracles performed by saints from the miracles performed by the devil. It is therefore necessary to look for a more rational meaning for this two words. To uneducated common folks, every phenomenon with an unknown cause comes across as supernatural, extraordinary, and miraculous. Once the cause is known, it is realized that the phenomenon, as extraordinary as it may seem, is nothing other than the application of a natural law. In this manner, the circle of supernatural events shrinks to the extent that the circle of scientific knowledge broadens. For the advancement of their ambitious interest and domination, humans in all eras have exploited certain knowledge they possess in order to give themselves the prestige of a supposedly superhuman power or a supposed divine mission. These are false Christ and false prophets. The spreading of enlightenment destroys their credit, and that is why their numbers dwell to the degree that people become enlightened. The fact that they perform what in the eyes of certain people come across as prodigies is not, therefore, the sign of a divine mission, since it could result from knowledge that anyone may acquire, or from special organic faculties that the most unworthy persons may possess as well as the most worthy. True prophets are recognized by more serious, exclusively moral characteristics.
Thank you. Do you want to make any comments or have any questions? No, no problem. That's all good. That's all good. What about you, Andrea?
So here now is talking more about the prodigy or the miracle that those false prophets can do, and it's saying that it doesn't go against the laws of God, and the same way that the good spirits can do some things, the evil spirits can do some things until a certain point, but and that's why they can um, misguide some people and what's the word that they use?
Deceive.
Deceive, yeah, that's the one. And they can deceive
Can be deceived.
people because of that. And even they say that people that are trying their hardest to evolve, if they don't pay attention to those small details, or if they are not, uh, they don't see that as a miracle, they don't lose focus, I think. Yeah, it's the idea. So if they are not, I want to say another thing from that Jesus usually used to say is I don't know in English, it's going to be pray and what I the I don't know how to say it here. But
Be watch or be
Yeah.
aware, pay attention. Yeah, something
But
along those lines.
Jesus always said that you have to pray and be vigilant.
Yes, be vigilant to the
Yeah, and those are the things that we have to pay in mind when we are dealing with those false prophets, because if we are connected with the good spirits, it's going to be easier for us to verify that or understand that these are not things that are good, or even those miracles. They doesn't mean that it's something that, oh, you're going to be the new Christ, or you are the Christ reincarnated, or things like that. And I think sometimes they're trying to be seen as people in those higher positions, and we need to understand as well that miracles and those extraordinary things and superstitious things that doesn't exist, and they have everything that has a root cause. And if you understand what is that root cause, it's not a miracle anymore. And sometimes we need to wait for the scientific field to discover those things, to teach us how those things work. So for us, it's not a miracle anymore. And in every level of the humanity since the beginning, we can see that for some people in a specific era, some things are miracle, and now we know that's just science. Or if you go back to the time of Christ, the example of Lazarus, I don't know if that's the same name in English, but he was in a cataleptic or lethargic state, and Jesus Christ just went there and removed or woke him up from that state, and people didn't understood. They think he was dead and he was resuscitated.
Yeah.
And that's a good example of things that the people on that era, they are not ready for that knowledge, but now we understand, and things now for us it's not a miracle, it's not something extraordinary anymore. And we just need to be mindful that if you come across something that seems miracle or seems extraordinary, we don't need to just believe on those things without thinking. We always need to use our reason to understand that phenomenon and see, oh, this is a good phenomenon that's going to bring light to the world, it's going to bring knowledge, but if it's not, we don't need even to follow.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very interesting you find that word miracle, because many things that were considered miracle or impossible or extraordinary back in the day, now they are reality.
Yeah.
And with the evolution of humanity, of the planet, many things that people may consider extraordinary or miracle, they can be explained by the divine laws. But the science doesn't take into consideration the divine laws. Science only takes into consideration what fits in their explanation, in the explanation that we understand at the moment. So back in the day, um, even maybe, I don't know, 50 years ago, nobody could imagine that we could talk with someone in another country, see the person, and have a live conversation. Even now we are here, and people maybe tomorrow be watching from Brazil. What we put in live right now is very incredible. In 50 years, I believe 50 years ago, we don't have that. I don't know very well when things came up. I always forget the dates, but and then things that today we feel is impossible or only a miracle would make us have that. And in 50 years, we have those things that we don't have today. So yeah, it's still humanity is still a little bit, not a little bit, have that pride that we know everything, that we we are so advanced, but there is so much to find out. There is so much to evolve, even in scientific terms. But the divine law is the one that will explain and explains everything. So nothing, everything has an explanation, but most of the explanation we don't have the capacity, not the intelligence yet to understand. But regarding the false prophets, we can always look at the moral. So what will, in the end of the day, show if it's false or if it's real one, is what's behind the attitudes and the feelings and the behavior of the false prophet. So if the intention is to cause admiration, if some prophets or someone that is trying to attract fans or the fame or money or power, then it's not according to Jesus. It's not according to what we believe uh, that is a true prophet. But if the intention of whoever is talking about is to help, is charity, are the values or virtues that from a good person or a good spirit, then most likely is a true prophet. But as Andre pointed out, regardless, we always need to use our rational side. We always need to use our intelligence in that sense and take what is good for us and what is not, then we don't need to take. So it's not because it's someone that is considered so the voice or representative of Jesus or God or whatever, we don't need to take everything as true if doesn't match our reasoning. So it's very important to take that as well. So it's just for, I suppose, alert for us and how we can judge in terms of not judging the person but judging the message, if that's going to benefit us, make us um, learn how to be more charitable, more kind, generous, more patient. So we know all the virtues that we have to follow. And in doubt, we can just look at Jesus and his life and everything that he told us. So then we can differentiate the false from the truth one. Yeah. Anything else? We don't have many people to comment today, so we'll probably do a little bit more of reading, which is not a problem. Do not believe all spirits. Do you want to keep reading or do you want to pass the ball to Andrea?
Pass the ball.
Okay. Would you please read?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do not believe all spirits. Dearly beloved, do not believe all spirits, but test whether the spirits are from God, for many false prophets have appeared in the world. Spirit phenomena, far from giving credibility to false Christs and false prophets, as some people love to say, have, much in contrary, come to be on them a final blow. Do not ask Spiritism for prodigies or miracles, since it formally declares that it does not perform them. Just as physics, chemistry, astronomy, and geology have revealed the laws of physical world, Spiritism has revealed other unknown laws that govern relations between the corporeal and the spirit world, and which are laws of nature as much as are the laws of science. by providing an explanation for a certain order of phenomena that have been incomprehensible until now. Spiritism destroys what still remained in the real realm of the extraordinary. This way, those who would be attempt to exploit such phenomena for their own profit and to pass themselves off as messiahs of God cannot abuse people's credulity for long and will soon be unmasked. Moreover, as has been stated, these phenomena per se prove nothing. A mission is proven by their moral effects, which are not given to just anyone to produce. This is one of the results of the development of the Spiritist science. By scrutinizing the cause of certain phenomena, it lifts the veil on many mysteries. Those who prefer the darkness to the light are the only ones interested in combating it. But the truth is like the sun. It dissipates the densest fog. Spiritism has revealed another category much more dangerous than false Christs and prophets. It's found not among humans, but among disincarnates. That of deceiving, hypocritical, proud, and pseudo-learned spirits who have passed from the earth to the spirit world and have adorned themselves with venerated names in order to seek, thanks to the mask with which they have over themselves, to give credence to the most bizarre and absurd ideas. Before mediumistic interactions were known, such spirits exert their actions in a less ostensive way, through inspiration and through unconscious hearing or speaking mediumship. The number of those who, at various times, but especially as of late, have presented themselves as certain ancient prophets, as Christ, as Mary, the mother of Christ, and even as God, is considerable. John's letter warns against them when he says, "Dearly beloved, do not believe all spirits, but test whether the spirits are from God. For many false prophets have appeared in the world." Spiritism provides the means to test them by pointing out the characteristics by which good spirits can be recognized. Characteristics that are always moral and never material. It is in the distinguishing between good and evil spirits that these words of Jesus can be specially applied. The quality of the tree can be recognized by its fruits. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. The spirits are judged by the quality of their deeds, just as tree by the quality of its fruits.
Thank you, Andre. There was another item. Do you want to make a comment? Do not believe all spirits.
Yeah, I think now is just saying basically the same things as the previous topic, but now focusing on the spirits that are not incarnated, and then by the mask that they wear, because they cannot be seen for most of people,
Yeah.
they can try to be someone else, like they said, Christ, some like prophets from the past, and they try to deceive us. And usually, not just those people that want to deceive us, mean like doing the contrary and trying to make us believe them, but sometimes even among Spiritism, you can receive a letter from someone else, a parent or a relative that passed away, and then they say good things for you, say, oh, you have to believe and you have to do something. And if you can see and pay attention on the details of this letter, it's possible to see if it's real, if it's someone that lived with you, because they have like a way of writing, a way of saying things. And by paying attention on those minimal details, you can really understand if it's the Christ that's talking to you, if some relative, or if someone trying to beat those spirits. And that's what we need to do. We need to receive those communication by hearing, by letter, or by inspiration. And we need to think twice and try to understand what you're thinking, what you are receiving, and if that is everything according to the Jesus' teachings, okay, we can go ahead and follow and pass to the other people, because the message is good and it should be shared in this case. But if you see that, okay, this comment is on the wrong place and the message is not 100% correct, so we need to stop and not share, and we need to try to not, especially in these times of misinformation and fake news, we shouldn't be sharing things that we don't know if they are 100% correct, or if they are 100% teaching us good things.
Thank you. Do you have any comments?
No, just makes sense.
No problem. Yeah, so even the title, do not believe all spirits, and in the same way, do not believe all prophets. And does make sense, because in the population in the earth, we have different levels of evolution. And in the spiritual plan, it's the same. So who are the spirits that will be closer to us in terms of proximity? The ones that passed away and they lived here before previously. So therefore, the ones that pass away, even though in general, when you go to a memorial or a funeral, everyone just say good things about whoever passed away, which is something really nice to say. But we do know, regardless if we just pass away or if we are here, we are there, we all have vices and virtues, we all have imperfections. So all the spirits that are around us, they have imperfections. So some will have the tendency to play games and to bring a message that's not true. Some will have the tendency to bring a message and sign as Emmanuel or André Luiz or whoever that has some weight in our minds or in our knowledge. And definitely, again, we need to use our rational. We need to analyze and we need to pay attention and just separate the ones that are bringing good messages and the ones that are not. And of course, being very responsible to pass on to other people those messages. But yeah, I think it makes complete sense, because will be the spirits that are good, they are around us, and the ones that similar to us with lots of imperfections, and they will make mistakes. So it's up to us to use our intelligence to differentiate and to take the good message, and what is not good, that's okay, we can receive it and leave it there. No problem at all. We don't need to do anything with that. We don't need to judge or criticize, but
I suppose if it's still good, we still take it, isn't it?
yeah, if it's good, yeah, exactly. Even if it's not 100% true, but if make us, if benefits us, as long as it's not hurting anybody, as long as not doing damaging anyone's, anybody, that's fine, that's fine. But it's just again like an alert for us to be aware, to be alert, and to not take, because I suppose, it could be our tendency to think, oh, it's a spirit. So then, of course, it's going to be good. It's a spirit passing a message, so it should be good. But it's not always the case, because they are very similar to us in terms of evolution, right? Yeah, it's very, very interesting for them to point this out for us as well, so we can learn. Anything else on that? I think we still have time to read one more, actually, which is the Spirit's teaching false prophets, and then we'll leave the characteristics of the true prophet for next week. Number 9. I suppose I can read now. We can all take turns in the reading. So the Spirit's teachings, false prophets. If they tell you the Christ is here, do not go there. On the contrary, be on your guards, because there will be many false prophets. Do not see the leaves of the fig tree beginning to fade. Do not, do you not see its many shoots awaiting the time of blossoming? And did not Christ say to you, a tree is known by its fruits? Thus, if the fruit is bitter, you say that the tree is bad. But if the fruit is sweet and healthful, you say nothing that is this pure could have come from a bad tree. This is the way you must judge, my brothers and sisters. The deeds are what you must examine. If those who say they are vested with divine power are accompanied by all the signs of such a mission, that is, if they possess the highest degree of the eternal and Christian virtues, charity, love, indulgence, the goodness that reconciles all souls, if in support of their words they add actions, they then you can say, these are truly messengers of God. However, distrust sugary words, distrust the scribes and the Pharisees who pray in the public squares, dressed in long robes. Distrust those who claim to have the one and only monopoly on the truth. No, no, Christ is not there for those whom he sends to disseminate his holy doctrine and to regenerate his people by following his example will be kind and humble, of hearts above all else. Those who, by their example and counsels, must have humankind quickly heading towards its perdition and growing tortuous road, will be above all else modest and humble. Run from those who display one atom of pride as if they were contagious lepers who infect everything they touch. Remember that all individuals bear on their brow, but more especially on their actions, the stamp of their greatness or decadence. Go forth, therefore, my beloved children, advance their hesitation, without ulterior motives, along the blessed course you have undertaken. Go forth always without fear. Courageously distance yourselves from anything that could hinder your progress towards the eternal objective. O travelers, you will be in the darkness and pain of trial for only a little while longer if you will allow your hearts to follow the gentle doctrine that has come to reveal to you the eternal laws and to satisfy all the aspirations of your soul regarding the unknown. Right now, you can give embodiment to those fleeting sylphs you have seen in your dreams, and which, being ephemeral, would only enchant your spirit without saying anything to your heart. Now, my dear ones, death has disappeared, giving way to the radiant angel you have come to know, the angel of reencounter and reunion. Now, you who have well filled the task imposed by the Creator, you have nothing more to fear of His justice, for He enchants your spirit without saying anything to your heart. Now, my dear ones, death has disappeared, giving way to to the radiant angel, you have come to know the angel of encounter and reunion. Now you have, so you who have well fulfilled the task imposed by the Creator, you have nothing more to fear of his justice, for he is the Father and always forgive his wayward children who clamor for mercy. Therefore, press on, advance without ceasing. Let your banner be progress, pro, continual progress in all things, until you finally arrive at the happy destination, where all those who have preceded you await. Louis Bordeaux, 1861. I think the battery. If it stopped, maybe. Okay, well, we can fix later. Yeah, the battery was running out. Yeah, I think now it's pretty much the explanation of the spirits, just reinforcing the characteristic of the false prophets and the real ones. So mentions here, for example, that the real prophets, we will recognize them by their example. So the actions, their deeds, not so much. They can also have, yeah, they will have good words, but the most important will be the actions. So if he says the actions, the person will do the example and be kind and humble of heart. On the other hand, the false prophets, they could have really nice words, very sweet, and speak in a good manner and have good communication, but the actions or the moral will demonstrate pride, will demonstrate sometimes selfishness and all the vices that we all have still, but that's how we can tell from a false and from a true prophet. So I think it's just emphasize that. And yeah, that's why the analogy of the trees. So good trees will provide good fruits. If it's a bad tree, the fruits will not. So the fruits are the consequences or the results of our actions. So, and in a way, I'm not sure if it's in this part, but because in a way we all prophets because we speak, we communicate, and we also give our example. So to whoever, so sometimes our example will be people are watching us, same as we are watching everybody. So people notice from our family, it could be from work or everywhere. So we are every time that we have an action, people notice our example. So we need to be careful if we want to apply this to us and to try to always have good examples, have good deeds and good actions. And that starts in our thoughts, our feelings, and then finally our actions. Do you have anything else, Andre?
The second part of this message
Mm-hmm.
is really interesting because it's encouraging us to do those things, to make our actions to be good actions. So they say that okay, you're going to be through pain, but it's not for long. We are still on the world of trials and expiations. So we still have to suffer a little bit, but it's saying that it's really fast. If you follow Jesus Christ's teachings, you're going to go through this phase really fast, and you're not going to stay here suffering or feeling pain. And that just depends on us. So if you want to go through fast, you just need to follow this path. Jesus Christ told us and show us the path. I know that's not easy. We have to be mindful all the time, but it's there we have the example. And it's just saying that, okay, go ahead, do that. And if you do, you're going to be happy, basically.
The motivational, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. Usually when we have a message from a spirit, they tell you the message, and usually the second part is encouraging us to follow that.
Yes, yes. definitely. Because so I'm just gonna write down the item 9 will be for next one. So same chapter. Yeah, because the ones that are talking to us through Gospel According to Spiritism or Spirit's book, they have been through what we are going through now. So they already evolved. So they also, whether they lived on planet Earth or somewhere else, they also had their struggles, they had difficulties, they were not always able to talk about that and explain and having this knowledge. So they went through, and so therefore they can see from where they are. Well, it's hard at the moment, so planet Earth is passing through a really good, big challenge, right? All of us, but that will pass. Everything passed, everything changed. So they went through that, and now they are in a much better condition, and now they can see they are in another phase of their spiritual journey, but they can see, guys, see, I'm here already. So it's like when we talk with kids, for instance, when they are studying, they say, oh, do I have to study? I have my nephews, they complain, oh, I wish I was an adult and I had my car and I could do my things, you know? And I say, but then you have to pay the bills as well. So it's another level.
Have different problems, huh?
You have different problems, right? But then we can see, well, everything passed. The time when you're little, go to school. The time when you are a bit older, go to the university. And the time when you have the responsibility. So everything.
Nothing lasts forever.
Exactly.
Not the good, not the bad.
Exactly. Everything passed. The happy moments, even those that say, oh, I wish that moment would just, keep in this moment, but that will pass as well.
Yeah.
So definitely they struggle. And even this life, we are here, and sometimes I think we forget that we give so much importance to small details.
I
If
think we do
someone,
that a lot, actually.
right?
Very on a subconscious level, on autopilot. So.
Yeah, like somebody told something about us, we get upset, we get angry, we get offended, but that's something so small comparing to our eternity, comparing to this life. So when we have bad situations, we should remind ourselves, okay, that's gonna pass, and even this life, this body is gonna stay here. Everything that we have, whether material, everything, just we live here, and our spirits just keep going with the journey. So the problems that we have now are really small comparing to the other many lives that we are still gonna have, and the other many learnings that we'll have to go through. Yeah, so we should try to give less importance to small problems, small details, and have the trust and have the confidence and be guided by these words that it's hard now, but it's gonna pass. And the more we invest in our spiritual life and do our parts, the faster the hard times will pass as well. Right? So yeah, very beautiful lesson. Eh?
Yeah, and I was thinking about some books,
Uh-huh.
and so it's so easy for us today to follow uh, the the right path, because back in the day, just after Jesus Christ passed away, if you want to follow uh, uh, uh,
Jesus
Jesus'
lessons.
lessons,
Yeah.
you had to go and you have to be like in a small groups meeting at night in some
Hide, you
place.
gotta hide,
Yeah,
right?
hide.
Yeah.
And if you're caught, you go to the Coliseo and you're going to be eaten by lions, things like that.
Yes.
So it was
My
way
gosh,
more
yeah,
difficult.
that's
Now
true.
we have the freedom to choose our religion,
Yeah.
to
The faith.
to do whatever you want. And I know that's not perfect. We still are a long way from perfection,
Yes.
but it's way better than it was back in the
That's
day.
true, right? That's true. They were, I really admire when I read some of the books, like Dois Mil Anos, Paulo Estevam, how brave they had to be to follow Jesus at that time. It was considered like a crime, isn't it? Considered completely wrong. So you wanted, at the time, you want to do the right thing, but it was dangerous for you to do the right thing. But now we have all the freedom, and it's just a matter of choice. So I suppose our challenge comparing to that time. We do have more distractions. We do have a completely different set of challenge for us. So there will always be challenge, but there will be always people. So even in that time was enough brave people. They were brave enough to do it. And in our times as well, we still need to have this braveness. But comparing, yes, much easier today. So we should use this opportunity. Yeah. Awesome. So we can go to the Spirit's book at the moment studying the emancipation of the soul. I think we went through a few topics. Um, do you remember what was last week?
Yes, so we've been studying the emancipation. So when we go outside our body, the spirit. So we've been talking about like 2 or 3 weeks about somnambulism, and last week we finished somnambulism and start ecstasy. That's a level higher than somnambulism, that the spirit has more freedom. And yeah, that's it. We are studying the characteristics and the properties when the spirit is in ecstasy.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, with this one, we can each one of us read one question, and then the next person. Can you please read 444?
Yeah. So 444, what degree of trust can be placed in statics revelations? Statics can be mistaken quite frequently, especially when they want to grasp what must remain a mystery for humankind. In such cases, they may transmit their own ideas, or they may become the cause of deceiving spirits who take advantage of their enthusiasm in order to delude them.
Thank you. What consequences may be drawn from the phenomenon of somnambulism and ecstasy? Could they be a sort of glimpse into the future life? Or better stated, they get a glimpse into the past and future life. Humans should study these phenomena because they will find in them the solution to more than one mystery that their reason has tried to grasp in them.
446. Could the phenomena of somnambulism and ecstasy be brought into harmony with materialism? Those who study them in good faith and without preconceived ideas could be neither materialist nor atheist.
So only 3 questions. So yeah, we probably should comment those ones before going forward.
I think it's interesting on that 444.
You want to go back
Oh, yeah.
please?
It links with the things that we've been talking about.
Oh,
on
you
the
came back one more.
Oh,
That's okay. Yeah, sometimes that's it. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so that first question is the same thing that we've been talking about false prophets. And
Yes. See, it's all connected, eh?
yeah. And since when we are in ecstasy, we have more freedom to interact with the spirit world. The spirit they have more freedom to try to what word again,
Which one?
deceive.
Yeah.
They have more. It's easier for them to deceive us because they can manipulate the matter and to create situations for us and misguide us, not just by saying something, but creating something for us to see and say, oh, I saw something that's going to happen in the future, but it's someone that created that image in their mind, and the person believed that and started saying for other people and passing on that false message. And then it's going to talk more about what they can see there. And we've been talking in previous weeks that we can only see what the good spirits things that are good for us. So if we need to understand a little bit more about our past life to to do something good or to follow the right path in our current life, they will allow us to see some things from our past life, and the same thing for the future. If knowing a little bit about my future will be make easier for me to take a good decision, they will allow us to see the future. But if it's something that's not going to bring us happiness or it's not going to put us on the right path, they're not going to allow us, especially to see the lottery numbers, things like that. So
very materialistic wish.
so those things are not going to bring happiness for us, and it's not going to make us do the right path, and it's not in our reincarnatory plan. Because before coming to the material world, we have a plan. It's not like everything in set, but they have like a road, like draft of our life.
The roadmap.
Yeah, you have to go and pass for these and do these, but it's not set in stone. We have our free will to go and follow this plan, and we can go through a different route. But the plan is thinking about our success. So if we stay on what we planned with the good spirits, we're going to be able to finish our life, and they say that this is going to be successful. We're going to be able to complete your plan, and those messages or those connections with the spirits and the knowledge that we receive from them is always going to be to help us to complete what we have planned before. The last one is
about the materialism. Yeah, it's very intriguing for most of us, for human beings, to be curious about knowing what we did in the past lives, or if there is any information for the future life. And there are maybe not so much nowadays, but back in the day, lots of people charge to charge someone telling that they can see their future, they could predict and everything. But is again, Spirit is telling us that it's possible, like for some people and some phenomena, some situations, it's possible, but it's not something that's going to happen every day, and it's not probably, yeah, it would be unlikely for someone to be charging and having that information every single day, because the power to the person, let's say the incarnated person that can get the information about the future of someone, is not doesn't come from the incarnated person, would come from a spirit. So you can charge for something that is not yours, that is you're just being an instrument for it. As Andre put very well, will depend on the need. So if it's something that will be good for us to know, then that can happen. But if it's gonna be even damaging for us, which could be, so we have the blessing of not knowing about our past lives for a reason. It would be very hard for us to know all the mistakes that we have done and how we behaved in the past life. So there is a reason for that blessing. And if that would be normal for all of us to know about our past, then would be a different, yeah, different setup of our life. So that's why we don't have. In the future, yes, we do have the plan, the reincarnatory plan, and there are the general idea, but the details we make as we go, because in our life we are choosing every day. We are choosing the journey, we are choosing the path. Just the main events we don't choose, but the details of all events. And many times we come with a plan and we change a lot. We change a lot because when we are there, we feel I can do this, I can do that. Yep, I overcame that. I can overcome that trial. But when we are here, it's very different, and many times we forget. We just focus on the material world, on the things here, right now. So that's why it's always a good exercise for us to remember ourselves. Okay, this is just a little piece of my life. It's just one life. And when we have that emancipation of the soul, when we sleep and our soul emancipates, it's for us to reconnect with the spiritual plane. But depending on our day, we can really reconnect well because we're just so attached, we're just so focused in here and just worrying about the problems and just thinking about the material things. So that's why we need to dedicate time, we need to dedicate um, ourselves to pay attention in the spiritual life, which is the real one, which is the one that is eternal, as this one is just a short, we're here just short term, just for passing here, which feels like a long time, but I suppose when we pass away, oh, that was fast, eh? I don't know, that is what I feel, that the spirit tells us that the time is different, like we feel differently the time when we pass away. So it will be interesting when we get there. Was anything else? Any comments or anything? Because I think maybe we should stop then because it's starting a second side, right? It's a new topic. And we can do it next week. So before, do you want to write down please? Number 4 for, so it's the same chapter. Part 2, chapter 8. Just for next week. Yeah, next week is still the study group, but the last week of the month now we're doing lectures. Yeah, it's gonna be a lecture in, I believe it's gonna be in Portuguese. So every last Wednesday of each month is a lecture. Last Wednesday of, so last, oh, it's not next week. Sorry, I'm confused. No, in the end of the month. Yeah, sorry, it's far away. We're just in the beginning. In the middle now. Yeah, in a few weeks, then we have a lecture. So every end of the month. I believe the next one is in Portuguese, and then in English we just intercalate.
And are you guys still doing the pass here or no?
No, not at the moment,
No.
just because,
Because
yeah,
of-
because of COVID. For now, we just do the collective, what we call collective healing, but not the individual one, yeah. Whenever the rules, the red light and stuff like that change, then we will go back to it, yes. We'll pass, right? Everything pass, yeah, definitely. Cool, so awesome, guys, thank you. You wanna put there is an image for, like if you go to the slides, I'll show you. Go back to the folder. It's like some, if you go to the one called, many change? Oh, must be the count pictures. No, it's not that one.
Oh.
Doesn't have any words in that one. And that one. So is the last folder on the right side?
On pictures.
Uh-huh. And then the one says peace. Yeah, that's the one. Awesome. Alrighty, so we'll do now our vibration and the final prayer as well. And, yeah, and we ask for the collective treatment as well. Alrighty. Dear God, dear Jesus, our friends, our brother, would you like to reunite our thoughts, our feelings, and vibrate for those in need? We will start with our planet Earth, which is our home, also our school, where we have opportunities to learn every day. Let's involve our planet with colors of light that brings peace, harmony, and calm. Let's spread everywhere that peace, especially in the places where there is conflicts, such as Russia and Ukraine, that the fluids can impact everyone that is involved in that crisis. Let's also vibrate to those that are sick, either affected by COVID-19 or so many other diseases that is still part of the life in the planet Earth. That those people can realize that the sickness and the suffering is temporary and better days are to come. Let's bring our consolation, our kindness to all people that live on the streets, especially the kids, that we can bring them some hope, some faith, that they can see that things will change in the right time and they will have a better situation. Let's also vibrate to those that are in prisons, taking them our love, our kindness. Reminds them that everybody has a second chance or as many chances as needed to try again, to learn, and to improve themselves. Let's also vibrate to those closer to us, our family members, people maybe from our workplace, our neighbors. Also remembering those that we find hard to communicate or to have a relationship. Let's send our love, our patience, our forgiveness if need be. So let's then open our hearts, our minds, to receive these positive fluids here that we have in this room that give us the strength to have courage to apply what we know already, to have courage to recognize our mistakes, our imperfections, and slowly correct them. Let's thanking our spirits, the superior spirits, for magnetizing our water, and for filling up our hearts with hope, with faith, and gratitude. So thank you very much for this opportunity of being here tonight. And would you like to ask permission from God, Jesus, to finish another Allan Kardec meeting? Thank you so much.